Hi everyone, welcome back. So I hope you guys are having a great weekend. It's Saturday right now, and we're going to talk about really quick just Bitcoin, Ethereum, see what's going on there. Bitcoin's battling with the 200 weekly moving average. We'll look at it, what's going on. We'll also take a look at the miners, see how they did compared to Bitcoin this week as well. They did actually really good along with Bitcoin, but a lot did better than Bitcoin, which was good. And then we'll also take a look at bear market, worst case scenario for the miners this year. If Bitcoin, I don't think it's going to happen, but if Bitcoin was to fall down to like 14,000, what would that mean for the miners towards the end of the year, stock price, things like that? Okay, so we'll make it pretty quick here. And as always, this is not financial advice for entertainment only. Do your own research. I'm invested in following coins and companies for full disclosure. And if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. So let's take a look at Bitcoin here. Bitcoin right now is at 24,761. So we were up a little bit here on the day today. We're up 0.24%. We closed at 24,636. We are up a little bit now, again, 0.55 to 24,765, roughly around there. The red line here is our 200 weekly moving average. And historically, we've never been as long below it as we have currently in this bear market that we've been in. In 2022, I mean, we got below that line here. Well, it started out back in June of last year. We bounced above it here, looks like towards July. We went below it here in July, went above it again in August, it looks like. Stayed above it until pretty much towards the end of August, late August, we fell below it, and we've stayed ever since then. So we've been there September, October, November, December, and then we finally bounced above it here in February. So almost 6 months that we were below it. I mean, if you look at it last time we were below the 200 weekly moving average, it was, I mean, really back here. This was back in 2020 in March, and this was based on the pandemic that hit us and everything. The stock markets crashed, everything crashed. So without that pandemic, we might not have been below it. Prior to that, if we go far enough back here, we kind of touched it here a little bit back in 2018, but we stayed above it. That was kind of our support line for a long time. And then this past year and into this year, for whatever reason, we stayed below it for a long time, which is unusual. So that's why I think the 200 weekly moving average here is pretty important if we can get above it. Right now it is at, if we zoom in, it's at the 25,000 mark right now. So that is kind of our resistance point. If we can get above that, I think we could possibly be going up to 28,600, which might be our next resistance line from there, but we'll see. You can also see here that we were battling with it here in the last couple of days with the 200 daily moving average, which is this blue line over here. We bounced off of it here nicely back in on the 13th of February. We bounced off of it, which was kind of nice here. And then what else do we have here? We were kind of battling with it back here in January, between the 14th and the 20th. Finally, 20th, we finally got above it. And then we stayed above it here for the time being. We came back down here recently, tested it, and came back up above it. So that's good there. We also battled with our 23,800 resistance line, tested it here a couple of times, fell below it, tested it again, and then we've finally, had a close above it. So that's good there. So like I said, I think the 200 weekly moving average is our next target. If we can get above that, I think we might be in good shape, and we'll continue to head up north from there. Yeah, so that's on that one. RSI is not looking too bad right now. It's beneath the 70 mark, which is good. It's at 66 right now. Price has been going up while RSI has been flat, so that's good. On the 4-hour chart, we can see here also that the RSI has been kind of flat, but the price has been going up as well. So that's good there. On the 1-hour chart, you can see the same thing here. RSI more or less has been kind of flat, but price has been going up. So that's a good sign there. Next, Ethereum. If we look at Ethereum here really quick as well, you can see that Ethereum has been above the 200 weekly moving average, which is the red line, much longer here now than Bitcoin has. It did dip below it back in November and also back in June as well. So it's done the same thing, pretty close to what Bitcoin has done. And if we look at Ethereum's line here, it has been below it before. This was back in, let's see if we can zoom in on it, all the way back here. So it was below it for a while here. And this is back in 2020 also. So this was probably right around the same time. Yep, right around the pandemic. It dropped below it, and that's all the data that we have is bars going back on this chart, at least for Ethereum. Okay, so we'll see how that one plays out. Ethereum was up today as well. Let's see, where is it? Go back to where we are. There we go. Okay, so Ethereum actually was down today a little bit. It was down 0.15%. I thought it was up. And it is up right now. It's up 0.33% to 1,697 right now. Okay, so we'll see what happens there. Let's take a look at the network hash rate really quick as well. See if that's going up. And it is now at 313 million. I think that's the same as it was yesterday. That's on the 1 day. That's the 7-day average. On the 1 day, it has come down a little bit here from its new all-time high to 321, and now it's up a little bit to 327 again. So it is trending in the upwards direction. We'll just have to keep an eye on that one. Okay, so let's take a look at how the miners did this week compared to Bitcoin, and then we'll get into our bear market worst case scenario for the miners next. Okay, so on this chart, we can see here how much the miners are up from their 52-week lows. Those are the green bars. Red bars are how far down they are from their 52-week highs. So you can see Iris is up 267, down 79. Core Scientific is up huge here, 763% from its low, but it's still 96% from its high. And Marathon's 147 and 76. Sphere is 107, 83. BitDigital is up 181, down 65. 192 for Bitfarm, 74. Hot 8 is 157 and negative 70. Riot is 102 and negative 72. DigiHost is up 461%, down 56%. Cleanspark up 94%, down 75%. Hive is up 147, down 71%. DMG 158% up, down 61%. Bitcoin is only up 45%. So you can see here, for the most part, all of these miners have done a lot better job, at least a 2x of what Bitcoin has done. Some of them have done a lot better than that. The only exception here is TeraWulf. TeraWulf is only up 14% and still down 94% from its all-time high. Argo is up nicely as well, 413% from the bottom and only down 82% from the top. Cypher is up 284%, down 62%. Mawson's 150% and down 91% on that one. So it's kind of nice to keep track of this. I think once we start getting closer to where they are within getting to their new all-time highs, these numbers will get a lot lower to that. Okay, as far as how they did this week, you can see here on the chart, well, let's just go into here. We'll do it this way. On this one, we can see that Bitcoin is only up 4.7% on the week. I track it Friday to Friday, kind of the same way as the miners basically are operating. So Iris was up huge this week. It was up 113%. Core Scientific was up 31. Marathon up 30. Sphere was up 28. BitDigital was up 26. Bitfarms 22. Hot 8 was 19, along with Riot. DigiHost was 16. Cleanspark up 14. Hive was up 13. DMG was up 5. So all of these miners did better than Bitcoin. And then these did worse, which is TeraWulf, Argo, Cypher, and Mawson. Mawson being down the most, down 7.14%. On the 1 week, take a look at the 4 weeks here really quick as well. Descending, and there we go. Bitcoin is actually down on the 4 weeks, down 1.77%. Hive is down only 0.59%, so it did a little bit better than Bitcoin here. Bitfarms is up 2.8, DMG is up 3, BitDigital is up 5, Hut is up 6, Riot is up 7, Cypher is up 16, Sphere is up 17, Cleanspark is up 18, Iris is up 72%, Core is up 94%. So all those did better than Bitcoin. And then these did worse. Mawson was down 2.72, DigiHost was down 7.94, Argo down 8.8, Marathon's down 12%, and TeraWulf is down 40% from 4 weeks ago, had you bought back then. And then 8 weeks ago, let's do this really quick as well. And we can see here that Bitcoin's up 36% from 8 weeks ago. Cleanspark is up 65%, Argo is up 71%, Sphere is up 73%, Riot is up 94%, Mawson's up 107%, Marathon's up 125%, Hive 134, Hut 8 136, DMG 148 along with BitDigital. Bitfarms is up 150, Cypher is up 162, Iris is up 200, Core Scientific is up 372%, DigiHost 383. Those have done tremendously well there. And the only one that has done worse is, again, TeraWulf, down 5.97%. And the only thing I can think of is because of, well, the debt that they do have, and they're going to be diluting potentially a lot of shares to pay off some of that debt. So that's possibly why the stock is down more than some of the other ones here. And finally, if we look at the 12-week as well, see how things shape up. Marathon, where's Bitcoin? Bitcoin's up 32%. Ride is up also 32%. So even with Bitcoin, Cleanspark is up 48%. Hive is up 51%. Mawson is up 53%. Cypher is up 54%, along with Sphere 3D. Bitage is up 59%. HUD is up 60%. DMG is up 63%. Bitfarms 90%. Iris 134%. Core Scientific up 152%. Argo 154%. And DigiHost up 197%. The only one that did worse than Bitcoin is TeraWolf. It's down 29% from 12 weeks ago. So that one's not performing that well. DigiHost, Argo, Core Scientific, and Iris are having a great run here in the last 12 weeks. And if we look at the numbers here, we can see a lot of these. Bitcoin has been green here for the last, 6 weeks out of the last 7. You could say up 6 out of the last 8. Argo is up 5 out of the last 8. Digital is up also 6 out of the last 8 weeks. Bitfarms is up only 5 out of the last 8. Cleanspark is up 7, looks like. Yeah, 7. And then you got Cores is up 5 out of the last 8. DigiHost is up 5 as well. DMG is up 6 out of the last 8. Cypher is up only 5 out of the last 8. Hive is up, what is that going to be, 6. Hut 8 is up 5. Iris Energy is up 7. Marathon is up 5. Mawson is up only, well, it's kind of flat here. You could say pretty much 5 weeks. Riot is up also only 5 weeks. And Annie is up 5 weeks. And Wolf is only up 3, well, maybe 4. 4 out of, right? 4 out of the last 8 or so. So you can see how that's kind of shaping up. We had a nice run here of the 4 weeks getting into January when it started out. And January was a nice month for us, pretty much green across the board except for some exceptions here. But other than that, it was a green month. February starting out to be not a bad month either. We so far have 2 green weeks, 1 red week. So we'll see how the next week plays out. And we'll just see how things go. But overall, it was a good week for the miners again. So it's nice to see that a lot of them are still doing better than Bitcoin is. Okay, so that's it for that one. And then let's take a look at the bear market, worst case scenario potentially on these here. So let me zoom this in for you guys. So this is the same kind of premise here as far as my regular prediction for 2023, which wasn't really a bull case. It was just, that one was for getting Bitcoin to around 40,000, which I don't think is a very bullish case. But I think that's kind of where Bitcoin might end up this year. Now with this one, we're going the opposite direction. Hash rate is going to be increasing here because miners are going to be having miners plugged in. And Bitcoin prices is going to be going down the rest of the year to about 14,500 by the end of the year, potentially. Right, this would be the worst case scenario. I mean, we could go down to 10,000. I think that might be even worse. At that point, the miners are not going to be profitable if the hash rate keeps going up. So that would definitely not be good for them. So this is kind of like the middle of the road, worst case scenario, going back down to 14,000 potentially. That would be a decrease of 28% from where we are. Well, a little bit more because January was around 20,000. So it'd be 28% from that point, okay? And average hash rate would increase to 346 million. That would be an increase of 31% from where we started out the month of January as well, okay? So I included here my regular predictions for the miners as far as what I think they should get to if Bitcoin gets to around 40,000 and the network hash rate goes to 346 million. These are the figures here for it. These are the bear market worst case scenario numbers. And we'll kind of look at those a little bit here for all of them here. Revenue is definitely going to come way down and include revenue in here, but we'll just take a look at my ratings on these guys with a 50% net income. Also, something else to look into is the PE ratios down to 5 now. When we were going down in the bear market during the last year, a lot of the miners were only getting like a 2 PE, 3 PE, maybe even a 1 PE. Some were getting a 5 PE. So I just kind of averaged it out to about 5 PE. That's the best way I could possibly do it. Now, if we're in a bull run, then you get a little bit higher PE ratio on these guys. Okay, so that's why we're doing a 5 PE on this one. Okay, so Argo came in at, if they had zero dilution here, so we got zero dilution, 50% or 20% dilution, 40% dilution, and 60% dilution in the stock by the end of the year. This is kind of where we would end up at. With 50% net income from gross revenue, with a PE of 5, Argo will be $1.96. Compare that to $13.34, which is where I think they should be if everything goes well, Bitcoin goes to 40,000, so on. So that's kind of what we're comparing against. Right, so a huge decrease there, obviously, with that. Best case scenario, 75% net income. I don't think that's going to happen because with price coming down, they're not going to be anywhere near as profitable as 50%. So I will just keep a look at it. We'll look at the 50% only on this one here. If they diluted 20% by the end of the year, they would be $1.63, 40% $1.40, and 60% would be $1.22. Bit Digital at 50% would be $1.22. And that's saying that they pretty much install everything that they have to install. That goes for all the miners here. Like we did in the other video, it's the same thing where they're installing pretty much whatever they have left to install, and whatever they reported on getting to is going to be installed by the end of the year. And then we're calculating based on the average amount that has to be installed each month towards the end of the year, okay? Now, so Bit Digital would be $1.22 here potentially, which is a lot lower from the $8.94 that I have over here. On the 20% dilution would be $1.01, 40% dilution 87 cents, and 60% dilution would be 76. Bitfarms would be $1.46 with 50% net income from gross revenue, and we had them at $10.43 here. So all of these are way down, about 80% down lower than with this regular prediction here. Okay, so we'll just kind of go back and forth here a little bit. You can see the numbers as well. I'm not going to go through all of them because this is going to take a long time. Cypher would be at 96 cents in the bear market. They were going to be at 6.73, and Cleanspark is going to be at 6.48. Worst case scenario potentially. It's still better than a lot of where a lot of these miners are currently, but it's not as great as it could be. And Cleanspark here would be at $48 potentially. Core would be at $2.17. Here they would be at $14.83. DigiHost $1.70 compared to $12.12. Then DMG would be at 31 cents compared to $2.11. Hive would be $1.76 compared to $12.38. Hut A would be 92 cents compared to $6.74. And Iris Energy would be $2.80, excuse me, compared to $21.23. Marathon $5.57 compared to $42. Mawson would be $4.47 compared to $32.08. Riot would be $3.08 compared to $21.53. Right for Riot, yep. And then Sphere would be 63 cents compared to $4.91, and TerraWolf at 82 cents compared to $6.27. So that would be the worst case scenario on these miners if they got there. I think it also could be even worse than that based on the PE ratio. It could be as low as 1 or 2 even on some of these, which we've seen in this past bear market. So it could be even lower than that, but we don't know. Now, do I think we're going to be in a bear market this year? No. I think as we get closer to the halving event that we are going to be going up in price. I'm still thinking we're going to be probably around 38, 40,000 by the end of the year someplace. We could go higher than that, but that's kind of just based on past historical data and going into the halving events, how much we've increased in percentage-wise from the bottom prior to the halving event and then after the halving event. That's kind of where I'm looking at, is right around 40,000 on that one. So I don't think this is going to happen, really. Is there a possibility it could happen? There is always a possibility. Something could spook the market. Something could happen in the world where everything crashes down again. We just don't know. So this is kind of the worst case scenario of where things might end up at, with all the miners installing everything that they have to install, their guidance, whatever their guidance was to install. And what else? Yeah, with the network hash rate going up 31% this year, which could go up even higher than that. It could go up to 360 million, possibly 350. Just don't know. I'm just going off of the past historical data. Okay, so that's it. Just really quick on that one as well. Let me know what you guys think of this, what you guys thought of the miners for the week, how they did. And if there's anything else you want me to cover, let me know down in the comments down below. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Spreadsheet is going to be available to my Patreon members as always. Thank you to everyone there for their continued support. Thank you so much for watching as well. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll see if there's anything to talk about tomorrow. If there isn't, there won't be a video, but if there is, I'll put one out. Otherwise, I'll probably see you guys on Monday. We'll get some more details from the miners, I think. So that'll be good there. All right. So thanks again. I'll see you guys in the next one.